Have I got a viewer in? Maybe. So I'm not sharing this video out. I'm not putting it on social media or Facebook or Instagram. Just, any regulars that might drop in and say hello. And a happy new year to you all. And I can update you what's been going on while I haven't been online for a little while, but nothing serious, but update you. Who's in? A couple of people have dropped in. I'm going to make myself a coffee, and I'm going to sit and have a little chat. I've been wanting to do this video for days now, but I just haven't sort of built up the enthusiasm for it. Not that I guess, because there's a whole group of you out there, a lot of regular viewers who Michelle and I both love to death, and I feel like I wish I could just sort of WhatsApp you sometimes and say, what's going on, so and then you do this sort of public announcement on YouTube and everybody's there. You don't know who's watching. So if anyone could just give me a little thumbs up, say if you're in. I'm going to get myself a coffee. And Byron, hello, my beautiful friend. How are you? I've got to lean forward because I haven't got Michelle here at the moment doing the reading. Hey, buddy, saving lots of American money for Mail America. So excited. Excellent. I'm not sure what that's about, mate, but whatever you're up to. I loved your message over Christmas, by the way, and all your little traditions you get up to. It's always good, Byron, to hear that you're doing the things that make you happy over Christmas. And so let's get the coffee on without further ado. Byron's in. I'm just, I've already steamed a little bit of milk. So let me just get myself a nice little shot here. I'm looking for just get 30 seconds of coffee shot. Anybody else in going to say hello? And I can update you. Hey, JD. Hey, buddy, you're not a long way off. You're not a long way off. But not by choice. And that's why I want to ask a little bit what you, the viewers, would like to see over the next coming months, because I haven't got a clue, to be honest. I haven't got a clue. Now, I haven't got a timer on this thing, so I'm gonna get about a 20-ounce shot. Got myself a little foam milk. And back over here. Jen, g'day, how are you? Now, I haven't got Michelle with me at the moment to moderate and to read your comments out to me, and I'll explain why in a moment. So I'm going to have to do it all, Jen. So those of you that are watching later on, I've lost a little bit of impetus on the channel at the moment because Michelle and I are in different parts of the world. Sadly, Michelle, somebody very dear and near to us is not too well, and Michelle's gone to offer some support, and I ended up the other side of the world, which is a pretty rare thing. G'day, JD. Happy New Year to you. So for Michelle and I to be separate, pretty rare thing. Yeah, I miss her dearly. So, she won't be even up yet. She might catch the tail end of this. But I feel like, as I say, there's a whole group of you out there, regulars, that, and I don't know what parts of the world all of you are in. I know, Byron, I know you're in the US, buddy, but I don't know exactly where everybody is. And finding a spot or a time to say hello. Oh, I've got a few thumbs up there. Look, I can do this with the camera, look, and get one of these things just here. And another little thing I can do is go like this. I think, is it like that? Maybe. There we go. And do that there. I thought that was a new YouTube thing, but I think it's to do with my laptop. So, yeah, so Michelle is the other side of the world. So I'm here. She's right over there. And that's about as far apart as the two of us has been. And she's been away for quite a while. And that's, consequently why We've been rushing around all over the place. A few little disasters happened over Christmas and the New Year that sort of had us in a bit of a tailspin. And Karen, how are you? Is that Albuquerque, Karen? ABQ, is that Albuquerque? You know, we spent time in Albuquerque. That's where they filmed the Breaking Bad, and we did the sort of Breaking Bad tour. We went all around. It's not an official tour. Michelle and I just went and had. Thank you, Karen. We went around to a lot of the places where the movie was filmed. It's a very pretty place, Albuquerque. You know, it's if you've never been there before, I mean, it is quite in some areas quite when I say deserted. Desert-like in many parts, and other parts it's got these great little sort of stone buildings, almost sort of like hobbit dwellings that are all over the place. They're cave-type dwellings, lovely stonework, beautiful place. If you haven't been to Albuquerque, you absolutely should. The big man says, Steve, hi from Jamaica. Hello, man. Taught me how to make the no-bake cheesecake, and when I was just a young teenager, man. Well, we've been around a while, mate. Yeah, I've been around a while. Been around a little bit too long, maybe. So one of the things, Karen, he was an extra in Breaking Bad. Ah, fantastic. One of my favourite series. Beautiful series. I've always liked, what's the one that, the spin-off from that as well? Better Call Saul. Very good series. I think also set in the same sort of New Mexico, maybe Albuquerque sort of region. Well, the big man, when you was just a young teenager, Lordy. Well, I've been doing this for longer than I care to think. So I was going to put a little questionnaire, and actually, thank you, Sahani, actually, for mentioning. A friend of ours said, put a questionnaire up and ask people what they'd like you to do over the 2024. And I sort of did a questionnaire and I started writing down things, would you like us to travel to these more exotic places? Tick here. Would you like me to go back in the kitchen, do some cooking videos? Tick here. More food videos, sort of doing this. And I was putting them down. I thought, this is stupid. These are like two sort of like black and white. Would you like me to do? And they didn't make sense either. I mean, it did, people who want us to, who enjoy what we do, might want to articulate more than putting a tick box. So if you've got any suggestions, also, Steve at Steve's Kitchen, you can always drop me an email. I use that email address for private emails, but if you want to drop me an email and give me some way of contacting you outside of YouTube, I can always, take any tips and advice that you do. I'm always happy to, I read all the comments, always have done. I did get to a stage some years ago where I just couldn't keep up with replying to all the comments, and I hope you appreciate that's often the case with YouTube channels as they grow. Happy New Year. So I was thinking, because over Christmas time, okay, so Michelle has had to go away to offer some family help. So we're parted, and Michelle and I are like Siamese twins. We've been together for since we were like 2 years old. Been together for a long time, and we're like two peas in a pod. So it's always a little bit difficult when I say it's always a little bit. This is one of the very few times that we get on really well. I think most of you probably feel that. Michelle and I are like sort of best mates as well as sort of married partners and the like. So I miss her, and I've sort of kind of found it hard to get into editing. I keep going to my machine and opening up the files and looking at them, and lose the impetus, and then I talk to Michelle a couple of times every day, but it's like late at night, and because of we're the opposite sides of the world, it's really hard to sort of pick your moments to have a talk. Plus there's a lot going on at the moment as well, which is another big issue. So we are good. I mean, Happy New Year. We are good. We're happy. See if I can do it again. Well, that's not very good, is it? You've probably got to get a bit of light background, or maybe I'm just not very good at getting the heart shape. Oh, I've probably got to do it like that. Look, we are happy. And I'm quite eager to start. Oh, you can see I've got a nice kitchen with me where I am at the moment. Who was it who just guessed a minute ago? I am back in Australia. Well, I am back in Australia. Sadly, Michelle is not back in Australia. She's the other side of planet. So, and we could be together, but there's been a few personal reasons why this has happened, and I won't go into that just now. But just be understanding. That's here. I mean, I did get a whole bunch of fruit. I was kind of gonna do. Had some Christmas recipes that I was going to do. Never got round to it because just too much going on up here. Too busy going on up here, and yeah, I'm sort of struggling to kind of work out what I want to do with 2024. I'm myself eating quite healthily after, not over Christmas. I was eating like a horse, and I put on a few kilos, probably about 5 kilos or so over Christmas. So I've just got to check that and get that back into balance. So I'm eating really healthily. So I am doing some quite interesting recipes, and I could maybe share those ideas with you. Maybe we could go through a little series of, after Christmas, I might go through a little water fast and cleanse myself through. If anybody would like, let me know in the comments if that's the sort of thing you'd like me to share with you. How I'm going to get back to my sort of Christmas indulgence, and but the food that I'm eating is quite plain. It's simple home cooked food, of course, as we generally do. I mean, I have some little snacks I like to. I mean, these are high calorie, but they're quite nice to have a few cashews, which I've been snacking on. Anyway, Karen. Yeah, it's nice to be in the kitchen. And being in the kitchen, in the kitchen environment, has actually reminded me of all the sort of things as we traveled around the world, things that I'm kind of keen. Back in Australia, I've got the shorts on. What am I on about? Back in Australia, got the shorts on, and never out of shorts. Some of the ideas that I've had about food ideas that I've picked up from our travels over the years. And I might have a little session of doing some cooking with you. But we've been traveling now for getting close to 9 years. And I think it's time to sort of knock that on the head a little bit and maybe start thinking about settling down somewhere. I think events over the last 2 or 3 months have made us think that maybe that's more important for us to do, much as we love traveling. Thank you, Karen. JD, I lost. When I checked. What's the word I'm looking for? When I became aware over the sort of the last few years that I had put on quite a bit of weight, I lost most of it pretty quickly. So not too quickly. I mean, within a modest amount of time, I got about 15 kilos back off. So that's about 30 pounds. But I have over Christmas put on a little bit of extra weight. So yeah, I'm way down from what I was a year ago, but I am not way down than I was before when we were cycling just in Taiwan. I've got that cycling series that I've got to edit. Was a great event, great fun, but I haven't got Michelle here to kick me up the arse and get me going. Am I allowed to say arse? Bring that camera that bit. If I bring it a bit further closer, you'll be able to see all the wrinkles, but I'll be able to read comments, and I won't have to keep leaning in. So, who else is in? Chris, hello, mate. All the regulars coming in, beautiful. Chris, love all your comments. Chris, you've always got some great ideas. Do let me know what you think. What should we be doing in 2024? Would you believe it's 2024? God, it wasn't just a couple of years ago. It was 1932. So yeah, let's have a think. Where can we take the channel over the next year? Are we going to continue to travel? Are we going to settle down somewhere and start doing cooking again on a more regular basis? You know, I've been learning about Mexican food and Chinese and Vietnamese and French and Italian food, whether we were down in Sicily cooking arancini and learning all about the pastas and things. I just haven't had time since we've been traveling to share back all the amazing stuff that we've learned from the USA, from different parts of Southeast Asia, from different parts of Europe. And I know there's still so many hundreds of countries that Michelle and I have talked about going to, but I do think it's maybe time that we settle down for a while. But whether I settle back here in Australia or whether we're going to go and settle somewhere, a lot will depend a little bit on how this current set of events unpack. Now I've got bits of cashew nut spitting out all over the place. So, Chris, I've come back to see the family here in Australia. Michelle has had to go and lend her compassion to family elsewhere because we were kind of needed. Michelle was needed. I was possibly, could have been also, but there's some other sort of pressing family issues that I had to deal with in Australia. We could have stayed. We could have stayed in Asia, but it's nice we both actually came back to Australia to see the family very briefly, and then had to make this sort of unplanned, unscheduled. Crap happens. Life gets in the way, and we had to make some major changes. Well, the air fryer is just there. Do you know, I fancy some... Oh, look, there's the thumbs up. There's the air fryer just there. Chicken wings. Who said that? JD. Do you know what? I was actually tinkering with chicken wings and playing about with them. Maybe I'll get myself some really nice quality, see if I can find some good quality chicken wings and share with. I'm going to possibly look at doing maybe a series. I used to do all my little mini series of pound cake, and then we do pasta series and rainbow series and all sorts of things. I'm thinking of doing some series of, because I'm on my own, maybe meals for one. How sad is that? So meals for one, because I know a lot of people do live on their own, and they try to think, maybe this meal, this idea doesn't, I often hear people say, I can't be bothered to cook, it's just me. And so and I think, well, it isn't that difficult, really. And really, I can't say that and not mean it. And I do mean it, that you can make really delicious home cooked meals in 5-10 minutes. There's loads of meals Michelle and I knock up all the time that we do for two that I could probably quite easily sort into a one meal dish. So maybe I'll film and do, but also I'd love to hear from people, you guys out there. Well, Steve, I'd like to see you make, I don't know, tamales, or I'd like to see you make, but do it as a single course, because it's just me. Oh, 7 thumbs up, 7 viewers. That's nice. Homesteading. Well, I can't do homesteading stuff because I haven't got access to a homestead at the moment. I'd have to move back to the old farm in France and maybe start living. That often appeals to me. Easter cross buns. Well, I've done a whole series of hot cross buns. I think I did chocolate hot cross buns and cranberry hot cross buns. So I've got a bit of a series of hot cross buns. We'll see. You made some Easter hot cross buns last year. Yes, I did. I think I did them in the air fryer. Yeah, I think I did hot cross buns in the air fryer. Like chicken, beef, stock and gravy. Yeah, there are lots of things. Like I say, many years ago, I did the series where I was doing sort of brown sauce and tomato ketchup, and I never did do the piccalilli that I promised, and I did Branston pickle. I never showed people how to make piccalilli. They're all I probably can't do it. I haven't got all my kitchen equipment here. It might look like I have. It might look like I've got everything, but I haven't got everything here. So it might be trickier for me to do, and I'm not sure how long I'm going to be back in Australia for. So let's see. Yeah, I miss her dearly, Jan, she will be watching this. She might even wake up and catch the tail end of it. So if she does, you'll see my name pop up with a comment, because Michelle will have logged in the same account. But I think she'll be asleep. Where she is, she's still getting over the sort of time differences. We're both struggling with our time differences at the moment. If I miss comments here, there's a few sort of flicking up. Swedish and Brazilian cuisine, like lutefisk and bridge. Oh, brigadeiros. I know you've always got that fascination, Byron, with the Swedish. Actually, I had roll mops just the other day. No, I didn't. No, they weren't roll mops. They were more like they reminded me of roll mops, but they were actually a anchovy, but not a salted anchovy, like a pickled anchovy, very similar to you have in Norway, Denmark, Sweden, and they were delicious. That's really good food. And I used to love all the dark Swedish Schwarzbrots, like the German dark breads that you get as well with roll mops and things. Less familiar with Brazilian, although my good friend, I don't know if you remember, some years ago when we were touring around Australia, we met this wonderful couple who've become really good friends of ours. Love them to death. This is Peter and Miriam, the wilderness couple. And Peter's actually in Brazil at the moment. I was talking to him just the other day. So he's over in Brazil with Miriam. They're both over there. Miriam's got promoting her book. So well done, Miriam, for that beautiful new book. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but I will get her new book. Can you make pizza in an air fryer? Cool. Yeah, I'm sure you can. I have actually been using the air fryer just a little bit. I was quite amazed at how well, it's the Instant Pot air fryer that I did the little series in. I was quite amazed just how well it does cook, I just wanted some bacon and sausage. I fancy, whenever I get back into the Anglosphere, and I include Australia as part of the Anglosphere, I always sort of think one of the early things I like to have is a bit of a fry up. And I was quite impressed with the way it did just bacon and sausage so quickly and without mess, because when you're frying, it can be messy. So yeah, you could do pizza in an air fryer. It would be, your pizza ovens want to be super hot. You wouldn't get great pizza in an air fryer. I don't think you could, unless you preheated it to get it very hot on the base. It wouldn't be great pizza, but you could certainly do a form of pizza in the air fryer. But I'm trying to think of foods that are suiting what I'm feeling at the moment. I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to get back on track, get rid of some of the excesses of Christmas, all the sort of heavy foods that you've eaten over Christmas time. So I'm looking at foods that are pretty healthy and very, very, very simple to cook. And I've probably got an arsenal of 200 or 300 meals like that I use on a regular basis. So what is that? Skip these ads. I think I've got to mention that skip ads. YouTube's going to put ads up on. Skip those. You guys don't want ads. I did do, when we were touring around Australia, I did do a little series of sort of outback cooking, and where I was making bread and dampers and things like that, Chris. So yeah, I've done some. Gosh, over the years, I've done barbecue cooking, all sorts of barbecue cooking and things. I forget, Michelle would remember better than I exactly what we did. I remember we'd been down at the beach at St Kilda here in Melbourne, Australia, cooking West African food, which was kind of fun some years ago. So yeah, I do outdoor cooking. We've got nice outdoors here. Maybe I could do something, but I've got to keep it quite simple because it's just for me. It's not even for me and Michelle. Michelle will be away from me for quite some time, unfortunately, and I'm going to miss her dearly. No, I've said it already, and I know some of you will too, even though she doesn't host the shows here. It's just she's my sort of like rod to lean against when I'm doing these sort of things. So I just really want to come on and bust the feeling I'm having, I might actually do another little live stream tomorrow, and I might just let's see. I might just, if I can think of something to talk about tomorrow from the comments that come out today. Um, and I've not filmed anything, but I think I might start filming a little bit of stuff. Um, Asian, Karen, did I miss something there? Why? Oh, sorry, Asian idea. Oh, hundreds, thousands of Asian ideas, Karen. Sorry, I didn't see the comment. It's, I'm sat about 2 arms length to the computer, and I've got this tiny little text down there, so I do need the old spectacles on just to be able to read them. But no, Asian, yes, so many. I mean, a lot of my dishes are Asian inspired. I've lived in Asia for a great deal of my life, so a lot of my food is sort of Asian inspired. Luxor TV, watching from Germany. Guten Morgen, good for me. Guten Abend. Guten Abend, wie geht's? So, yeah, lovely. Salut. Salut. Is it Luxury TV Vlog Salut, or did you actually write Salut? That's French. I'm not sure, Chris, that I want to do out and about videos. I'm not probably, forgive me for sounding negative on it. I think the last thing at the moment I need to be doing is any sort of travel videos. I think I got to get I have got so many travel videos that I haven't edited over the years. I'll see. I'll see. If I think I just, it's hard for me to get my head around showing around my hometowns. It's. No, did I say something wrong there, Karen? Asians, yeah, Asian. Yeah, I could do live maybe fairly regularly, and maybe sort of cooking. But I'm not sure if these lives are really that interesting. I just really wanted to come on and say hello, because it's like I say, in some ways, if you want to drop me an email, steve@steves-kitchen.com, you can drop me an email, or social media at steveskitchen.com. You can always drop me an email and say hello. Because I sometimes want to say to people, a lot of you have been regulars for a long time, and I felt like, although we've been doing shorts and putting them up over Christmas to try and sort of keep the channel sort of ticking over, I really haven't been doing a great deal since we had to bolt from Vietnam. So we were in Taiwan not long ago, cycling around Taiwan. Michelle and I knew nothing about what's going on at this moment. At that point, we just get a little drink. We then had a rendezvous with family in Vietnam. We went back to Vietnam for, I think, the third time this year, and that was great. That was really wonderful. And then sort of crap hit the fan a little bit, and things went a bit pear-shaped for us, and we had to make some decisions, and consequently we've ended up sort of having to part ways for quite some time, which is a little bit annoying. I am not cooking anything at the moment, mate. I probably tomorrow. I'm thinking. I know this is really simple, but the sausage here in just regular, like, Italian style, you might call it sausage. I call it British style sausage. I'm probably going to have a sort of sausage sweet corn dish that I make. It's just like a little mixed sausage and sweet corn, maybe with some. Hopefully the mangoes are in season, so I might also do some dish, a little sort of mango and avocado dish as well that I quite like. But the plan is, I've got some decent sausage. Maybe make a simple little. I'll be doing dishes that don't have a lot of carbohydrates, and not a lot of white rice and bread and potatoes and things, maybe. But the air fryer's there, so I could be doing some French fries. You never know. Let's have a little kind of. It's really hard with Michelle not here doing the comments, and it's not interesting for you if I'm trying to read them. Yeah, maybe I could do live while cooking. The only thing with lives while cooking is they quite often end up being quite lengthy lives, and not everybody wants. So if you want to look up how to make a certain dish and it's a live stream, nobody watches them. So it's am I bored without Michelle? Maybe a little bit. I'm not bored. I'm just sort of, you know, Michelle and I get on extremely well most of the time. She won't mind me saying that. And we've been together for a long time, for like, forever and ever. So it's kind of, you get used to being with your best mate sort of friends all the time. And when they're not there, it was a few days that I felt really, really strange. But, I'm getting a German food. Yeah, I could make German food. What's German food would you suggest? Could make something simple, maybe a frikadella, schnitzels, Zigeuner schnitzels. What sort of German food? I mean, my favorite German foods are the usual sort of junk food. It would be something like currywurst, bratwurst. I used to love a good frikadella if you were out on a weekend with my friends. So, but I also love the German breads. You see, I love the German breads, but I'm trying to avoid breads a little bit at the moment because they're calories that I don't really need. And so many of the breads, maybe I might make up a little pot of sauerkraut, maybe. Um, so not bored without Michelle, no, but just because I get to talk to her a couple of times a day, which is good. Um, yeah, I know schnitzel, Zigeuner schnitzel slash schlick. I know all the different. I used to have schnitzels all the time as a kid. Be right back. See you in a minute, Karen. Say hello when you get back. Oh, retracted. Okay. Can I do a punch, a drink? Maybe. You mean like an alcoholic punch, like a sort of? I'm on my own. I can't sit here drinking. I'm not going to sit here drinking alcohol, particularly on my own. I might have the odd beer, or a glass of wine. But do I know Hamburg? I know Hamburg. I know the city of Hamburg. Non-alcoholic. Yeah, bring back Smoothie Tuesdays. I don't wonder if anyone remembers Smoothie Tuesdays. I used to do a series called Smoothie Tuesdays. Maybe I could bring back Smoothie Tuesdays for a few weeks. I'm not here for a long time. Michelle and I are going to decide over the next 2 or 3, 4 weeks exactly what our plans are for the year. So we're mulling over at the moment, what do we want to do for the rest of the year? Because we can't see ourselves just banging around the planet forever and ever. We've got to sort of settle down, get our teeth into something a bit more sort of substantial. So yeah, I do know Hamburg, and I could do maybe a little series of maybe revitalized Smoothie Tuesdays. What day is it today? Thursday. Anything Chinese is very welcome. Well, I've got a small series, Chinese series. I've got char siu. I think I've done some hand rolled steamed pancakes with chicken. So yeah, I'm always up for doing something Chinese. I mean these meals won't be very specific. They won't be like, I'm not probably going to be doing anything like showing you how to make char siu again, which is like a fairly complex thing because it's long-winded. I'm thinking of things that I can say to you. Okay, here's a meal you can make in 10 minutes from start to finish. It's completely unprocessed. It's really fresh. It tastes delicious, and it's healthy, and it's low calorie. Maybe we're all trying to watch. So I might do a dish I've been having a lot of lately is I've been cooking some black rice and doing it with some simple vegetables and maybe some teriyaki chicken, tiny amount of protein meats with a small amount of that beautiful dark black rice, which is nutty and delicious. So I might do something like that. I might do some little sort of salsa salads. Another one I had the other day was a little sort of mango, avocado, and sweet corn and all sorts in a little bowl. And then I'll just add into that probably a little bit of meat if I want to, a little bit of protein meat, maybe just some fried bacon. So there's lots of I've done char siu from start, JD. I've got I think the whole process is on my channel, and unless somebody can look it up and share it, I haven't got Michelle to do that, unfortunately. Flavored yogurts like blending. See, I did a series also of a yogurt series, Chris, some time ago. I did a whole series on yogurt. It was like, making all the yogurts. So I've got a series up there. If Michelle's watching this, please find all the series and put the links in. But I've got like making all your homemade yogurts, and it's so simple to do. And I got the little flask that I used to make yogurts in, and I would make them with all different flavors. I had so many, but one of my favorite yogurts is a mogurt with a mango yogurt, something like that. So yeah, I've got a series, but I'm interested in what you're saying. So you're inspiring me to think. So yeah, yogurt. I mean, that's almost a mango lassi, Chris. So we're getting into Indian territory there. Come from the Philippines, live in Germany. Interesting. So is there sort of like Filipino German fusion food that any sort of names that you can think of? Sort of the what's the famous national dish, the Philippine dish? Oh, I can't remember the name. Somebody will probably say that. Yeah, I mean, they are old series now, aren't they? I was only about 12 years old. Adobo, yeah, like an adobo with blood verse or vice versa or some sort of like mixed. Yeah, adobo. That's what I was thinking of, adobo, but I'm trying to think how you could incorporate that into a sort of rich German stew, like one of the beautiful German stews, or maybe add in there some some sauerkrauts or white sausage or something like that. Jollibee, yeah, Jollibee. Jollibee's the famous Filipino sort of McDonald equivalent. Interesting. I think Germany, by the way, and you're from the Philippines, but you have German connections, clearly. But I think Germany makes some of the best bread in the world. It's a shame I would be the size of a back end of a house if I lived in Germany, because they have some of the most delicious brötchen. Just simple brötchen is so good, but also pumpernickel and all the different rye breads and things. Germany is good. Best breads. And better than the French bread. And I lived in France for many years, and the French make the best baguettes in the world by far. But Germany make generally across the board better bread, better variety. And beer. Yeah, they make okay beer. They make good beer. The British make the best beers, if I'm honest. Nobody makes ales like the British make ales, whether you're in Ireland or England or Wales or Scotland. Some of the best ales on the planet. Don't give me any of that rubbishy lager stuff. But you've got the Weiss beers and Schwarz beers and all the different beers in Germany. But if you want proper ales, good quality ales, you've got to be either here in Australia, where we have an amazing microbrewery system where they're making. If you go up to Red Hill, not far from here, the Red Hill breweries, they make some of the most amazing beers, but they're British influenced beers. They are British influenced beers. Oh, sorry, gotta go. Get these cashews, eat them up. Irish pubs are good, but not the ones you see all over the world. which serve that awful Guinness and not good quality Irish beers. If you want good Irish beers, you probably got to go for good Irish stouts or good Irish beers from Ireland. I'm a long way from Germany. Do you feel returning to Australia has brought you any culture shocks? Well, we've been a long time. We come back every year, apart from during the, you know what, that we're not allowed to talk about. Um, you, we come back every year, so it's not like we're away long enough to get real culture shocks. I think I've really enjoyed Taiwan this year. I thought Taiwan was an amazing country, really exceeded my expectations. South Korea as well, loved South Korea. I mean, two countries there that have brought Michelle and I more joy than probably anywhere else are South Korea and Taiwan. We've done the same old, a lot of the Southeast Asian countries as well, which are kind of a little bit home from home for us. They are amazing, they are wonderful, but a little bit home from home. We need probably to settle somewhere for a few years and get some projects going. I mean, I was thinking the other day, we went to a Vietnamese house and the guy was showing me his workshop. And it reminded me of my workshop I used to have, where I used to do a lot of carpentry and general work. And since I've been back here in Australia, we've only been back about. Well, Michelle hasn't been here the whole time. We only briefly touched down, and then Michelle had to head off. I've been helping my kids. My family all live here in Australia. I've been helping with laying down floorboards, and I've got some other projects that because I'm pretty good with my hands. I started my younger years. I was involved in the construction industry, not as a contractor or working, but I was managing a lot of projects. So I worked with gas, plumbing, electric, carpentry, cabinet making, building homes. So I wonder whether whether I'm not really making full use of some of those skills. Greek and Turkish, I would love to go back to that part of the world, Karen. I think I've still got to give justice. We did all that time in Turkey, but it was during the lockdowns, you remember? So didn't probably really get to fully experience it. And I'd love to go back. And we've got some good friends in that part of the world. Well, I can. I'm kind of, this sounds like I'm good with my hands. Good with my hands. Never really anything that I wouldn't put my hands to. I've installed double glazing, not as a business, but I've done double glazing, plumbing, plumbed in toilets, done roofs, built offices, kitchens by the hundreds, designed. For many years, used to be an interior designer as well. So worked with fine furnishings, a lot of things, lived a lot of lives. And so don't be surprised. If you say to me, Steve, because a lot of we had a farm at one stage, and I raised pigs, and we had a lot of experience with dealing with animal husbandry and growing plants and growing food and being self-sufficient. So, if you said to me, yes, Steve, I'd really rather see you, I don't know, restoring old cars or something, maybe I will. I don't think actually restoring old cars appeals to me that much, because much as I love cars, I don't really, I'm not passionate about cars. I don't hold value in those sort of products. So I don't covet a car, never have done. Pigbraten, Schweinbraten. Did I miss where that? And Turkish is not my favorite food. Lot here in Germany. Hmm. So Turkish food is really good. You know, the Turkish have amazing food. I think it's really hard, actually. If you say you don't like Turkish food, or you say you don't like English food, or you don't like Chinese food or Indian food or things, you're casting a very broad net. Um, you know, the Turkish will have a slice of toast for breakfast. You know, they might have a bowl of cornflakes on a weekend. The Turkish might, make themselves a pizza. They might make something sweet like a version of a Christmas pudding. There's so much stuff, and everybody has those abilities. You'll always find some food. I don't want to stay on too long, guys. 45 minutes. Maybe we'll take it another sort of 15 minutes. If anybody has any, because this was just to say hello and apologize for not being online for a little while, because I know we've been putting up the shorts. Thank you, Michelle, for a lot of that work, actually. But I've lost my drive a little bit with so many other things going on that have kind of dragged me away from YouTube, and this happens occasionally. And also the fact that we've probably, I don't know, we've been on this year, we've probably done 15 or so flights, maybe more, around different parts of the world. And we're not getting burnt out or anything. I'm not far from being burnt out, but I'm probably a little bit distracted. You can repair faulty TVs and radios. I can, JD. Yes, I can. Sounds very boastful now, but I mean, I've worked on circuit boards, and I've done a lot of PCB repairs, so I can work with capacitors and transistors, and pretty much anything on electrical, micro electrical sort of side. So yes, I've done a lot of that. I understand it, but I think with General Electrics, I mean, yeah, I can wire a plug. I can put in an extra light switch. I can probably put in an extra socket, but I try to stay away from electricity, because I think electricity, you can easily trip yourself up on electrics. Many years ago, I used to have a team of guys that worked for me, and they used to, when the old plumbing used to be around, that was actually lead plumbing, and they had skills with working with lead. I never did. I'm not old enough to remember that particular skill. So, love variety of many foods, experience from other coaches' foods. I probably will surprise you, Karen. That's for sure. I probably will surprise you, I'm sure. Jock, how are you? How are you? Good mundo. Good mundo. That's an interesting surname. Is that your actual surname, Jock? Well, I that's what we're trying to work out at the moment. We're not sure. And one of the reasons, let me just have a quick read of your comments. If anything, you could. Thank you, mate. So yeah, do you know what? I have to be, to my shame, I've never been to the Scandinavian countries, and it's somewhere that I've always wanted to go. But today's video is more about what should I do this year when eventually I'm reunited with Michelle, which will happen. This will be the longest period we've ever been apart, and for good reasons. But yeah, Scandinavia is. We were just talking with Byron at the beginning, and Byron wants me to do some sort of Swedish food, and I was remembering many years ago, I used to design kitchens for a company, a European company, and part of the business I was involved with, we had a Scandinavian company come over to visit us, and they brought all these beautiful Scandinavian foods with them. The breads and the pickled fishes and fishes. pickled fish, I think, roll mops and all sorts of different. And it was my first sort of saunter into Scandinavian food. Probably not my first saunter into it, but I mean, it was one of my earlier. I was quite young, and I thought, wow, this food's amazing. Loved it, fresh, unusual, challenging flavors for us. Anglophiles who are not used to that style of food. So I've always wanted to go and spend some time in your part of the world. But I'll be honest, I'm always put off by the fact it's usually bloody cold, and Michelle and I don't like the cold. So I'd have to come in the summertime. My father used to go to Norway regularly for his work, and he always recounted some wonderful stories from that part of the world. So we will get there. We will get there. Good Mundo. Oh, is an abbreviation for Gudmundsson. Okay. Karen, you retracted a message and I didn't even get a chance to read it. See, if Michelle was here, she would have read it and told me, oh, Karen just called your names and then retracted it. Yes, I will. And JD, thank you very much. I'm going to go on for another 10 minutes maybe, and then we're going to end this. So good night, Karen, and thank you for reminding me of Albuquerque, beautiful part of the world, some lovely, lovely small towns and suburbs in Albuquerque. If any of you haven't been there, you should get over there, and you'll be experiencing, it's New Mexico, right? I mean, I use my back of my brain, I think, to sort of throw those things. New Mexico, I think, Albuquerque, got to be. Beautiful part of the world. So if you're in New Mexico, definitely Albuquerque, one of the prettiest, most historically interesting parts of the USA, if indeed almost everywhere in the USA, to me is a remarkable, wonderful, Many years ago, Michelle and I, we've been many times to the USA, and we always tend to go off the beaten track a bit, and we do what we call grey lining, traveling across the USA, but not on the interstates, but on the smaller roads. And we've been to so many places. I often, when I talk to my American friends, they say, oh, you've been to more places than I have. But, there's so many small towns and cities across America that have so much history, whether you're sort of in Savannah looking at sort of the riverboats along and all the taffy making, or if you're down in New Orleans, not my favorite city, New Orleans, but around New Orleans with the gumbo and the sort of like the fried chicken and all the amazing food that's down in the southern part of the USA, or whether you're up in Utah, the rolling sort of amazing scenery you get around Yellowstone National Park and Utah. The valleys there are phenomenal. If you're going up the coast with the giant redwoods, it's one of the most, you could spend a lifetime in the USA and always be discovering new things. It's a great part of the world. And certainly I got fond memories of almost every part. I think probably the only place I didn't overly enjoy, shouldn't say this, should I really, was Los Angeles, the city itself. I thought LA was, the first time I went to LA, I thought it was okay, but I find it's not my favorite. If that upsets you, tough luck, make it nicer. And I've been to LA dozens of times, and I've had some really good times in LA. I mean, we went to the VidCon, but it's quite sterile and yeah. Great Mexican food. That's right. I had some amazing Mexican food in Albuquerque. Huge Mexican. There's communities in there. You can go to shops that are selling just Mexican. They all speak Mexican. The food sold in there, the actual tamales and things they're selling freshly made in the shops as well, which is kind of cool. So when we were in Palm Springs in I forget which state Palm Springs is, and we spent ages there. You know, you equally had these phenomenally amazing sort of like bespoke places making little home brews and beer stores that you could go to. Lots of sort of artisan makers of different foods. Yeah, good memories. One day I'll write it all down before it all sort of fizzles out and I forget about every damn thing. 1 degree Celsius, Jan. Oh, you see, that's why I'm not in Scandinavia. That's why I, I I would love to go to Sweden, Denmark, Norway, Finland. I'd love to go up to those countries and just spend some time there. But I haven't got any long sleeve shirts. I've only got Australian clothing. Well, even when we went to Sicily all those years ago, Michelle and I went to Sicily. We went there for the European winter because we thought it was going to be lovely and warm. And we got to Sicily at Christmas time, and it was bloody freezing. And all Michelle and I had was, thongs and shirts and shorts and things. So we're putting on our, every single T-shirt we had, layering up all the T-shirts, and all the Sicilians are wearing sort of like parkas and fleeces and North Face polar expedition jackets and the like. So yeah, we're not keen. Although I have lived through some winters. So 31 degrees Fahrenheit. What is that? That's getting close to zero, isn't it? Is that pretty close to zero? 1, 2 degrees Celsius. Gets really weird, doesn't it? Because you kind of got the way Fahrenheit and Celsius go. They sort of seem to sort of mimic each other, and then they just forget about it and just go 33, 0, whatever. I'm always amazed that the USA is stuck with Fahrenheit. You know, the UK dropped Fahrenheit, and these are old imperial, old British measurements that go back to the time of the old kings and things, Fahrenheit and miles and feet. And for some reason, the USA have kept them all, which is fine. It's quaint. Okay. So like a hot air balloon festival. Yeah, I'd love to. When is that? October. All right. Make a note. But we're not good at planning those sort of things. We always end up sort of rocking up. I probably come 3 days after the balloon festival is finished. Anyway, I'm getting to the end. I don't want to go over an hour. This was just to say, love you all. Happy New Year, happy 2024. Sorry I haven't been coming on doing much because we've had a lot going on, a lot of crazy stuff going on that has ended up with Michelle and I being separated by a whole planet, basically. And miss her dearly. I'm sure a lot of you will send your love to her. She's actually having to deal with some things that are quite challenging. I'm having similar sort of things to deal with at the other end of the planet. Life gets cashew nuts. Life gets in the way sometimes. And I hope you guys have had a lovely Christmas. I'm sorry I didn't manage to do live streams over Christmas and do some Christmas cooking. I am thinking of doing some stuff while I'm here. Put your suggestions down. If you're watching this back at the end, share the love. Share this with your friends and family. And I will see you again very shortly. Love you all. Take care.